Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We're at 16360 Willamette Valley Drive here in Oregon City, located just to the left of the front doorway. That's as you look at the front of the house from the street. That's how I describe everything. Cleanout sits about 3 feet to the left of the concrete patio. Dropping into a 3-inch ABS access point here, cleanout. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Waters are running, we are zeroed out, and off we go. That little bit of kind of tan yellowish stuff you see under the water there it's an example of grease buildup. This is very minor, honestly. Not at a point here. Unless it starts thickening up a little bit more than that, not something I'm generally going to recommend cleaning on. Just at the level it's at, you'd have to be abusing this thing pretty hard for that to even come into play. But I like to point it out for educational purposes. I've done over 25,000 sewer scopes at this point in my career. I do a lot of drain cleaning, and grease buildup is a very common contributing factor to blockages that result in backups. A lot of blockages happen actually much more frequently than most people realize. In a lot of cases, you never even know they happened. The line will block up. We just transitioned there to 4-inch 3034 PVC pipe, by the way. But the line will block up, water will build up behind the blockage, for 3-5 feet, whatever it is. And it's enough to get the blockage to break loose under the head pressure of that. That in combination with, generally, products that disintegrate, like toilet paper. So it's one of the reasons you want to make sure your line is clean or free of grease buildup. Grease acts like glue. And it can cause blockages that would otherwise break loose naturally on their own to hang in there. They can withstand a lot more head pressure building up behind them. It turns disintegrating toilet paper into waterproof toilet paper as it gets impregnated with grease. So it's about the only maintenance habit, about the only thing a homeowner can actually do to maintain or help flow along. Otherwise, the line's buried underground. There's nothing you can do about it. It's at the will of nature. But that's about the best living habit out there to help maintain flow and make your line much more forgiving under abusive scenarios. It's a much bigger deal to keep up on it when you have little ones in the household, for instance, that are flushing lots of balled up toilet paper down the line. So anyway, there's the PSA for the day on grease buildup. Thus far, the line looks very nice here. We're going to go locate. We're at the main here at about 78 feet out, and then we'll pull back in here once the line's drained. All right, we're going to pull back in here a little ways and try and locate this thing closer in. I'm having a really hard time picking up a locate signal. I just walked up and down the side street quite a ways, and also in front of the house on Willamette Valley Drive, and did not pick up even the slightest signal. No, it's probably a pretty deep line. And if you're newer to home ownership, you can tell I harp on grease a lot. Lines look so good, I don't have a whole lot more to talk about, honestly. But best way to, what I kind of tell most people to live by is just a general rule of thumb that mitigates the vast majority of grease buildup, the meaningful stuff. It's when you're dealing with real quantity. A thin little coating of PAM spray, for instance, is not a big deal. Hot water and soap handles that. If you know some amount gets down line, keep your hot water running for about a full minute after your last dish was scrubbed off. That ensures things, or helps anyway, to keep things melted and emulsified till it gets out to the main or a good distance from the house. But if you've got enough oil and grease on your pans, when it's in the hot or liquid state, if you turn that pan sideways, there's enough on there that it runs off the pan in beads or worse. It's at that point you want to do something about it. Let it cool down, wipe it out with a paper towel, or scrape it off or pour it off into a garbage once it's cooled, or when it's still hot in a liquid state, hot in general, you can put it into something like a metal can, something that can handle high temperature, won't melt through. That'll mitigate the meaningful stuff. Anyway, we're going to go try and locate here. Alrighty, headed right where I thought it was going there. The line, as you face the house from the street, again, the line pops out of the front of the home just to the left of the patio, the front patio. It then jaunts over towards the driveway. And where the line turns, it doesn't actually get under the driveway. At the front left corner of the driveway, we call that a driveway skirt, right where the driveway meets the street. It flares out to the shape of a skirt, hence the name. So at the far front left corner, right at the driveway skirt, where that skirt comes to a tip, right there is where the line actually crosses the curb. The line heads toward the driveway, but it turns before getting underneath it and just barely crosses into that little piece of driveway skirt there. All the 3034 PVC looks great. And given the distance we just ran there, the line's going to terminate on the farther side of the street, not in the middle of it. It's going to get across the road quite a ways. Not that necessarily meaningful, but just in case you're wondering. That superb looking sewer line. And this line, it's a deep one. The line's got a really nice, consistent, steep angle to it. That's what you want. It keeps just velocity moving. You want fast moving stuff shooting through the line. Whoever installed this did a beautiful job doing it. I know that sounds funny, but usually when you get a deep line, especially newer line installs, you just don't have the same craft you used to have back in the olden days. When you got a deep line like this, they usually just run them at 1/4 inch per foot, right at the bare minimum grade, get out near the street, and then do a 6-8 foot deep vertical nosedive, and just lose all that slope and grade you could have used to put a nice, steeper, consistent angle on the line. Whoever did this is using old school techniques, did a very nice job doing it. Zero settling issues, no roots, nothing. The line looks fantastic. Just a tiny little bit of grease buildup in the line. It's nowhere near needing cleaning. Great flow end to end. All the pipe is in good condition. That's about as good as the scope goes right there. Sewer line is functioning properly at this time.